did see Durk's multi-million-dollar, they say billion-dollar lawyers actually doing cross-examination. And I'm not going to lie to you, they were putting in a good shift. When Brian Steele was up there, he was clapping back at the main detective, and he brought up some very interesting things. He kind of gave us a little taste of what's probably going to come as time goes on. He basically brought up some very interesting points and kind of trashed the credibility of the detectives when it came to actually recording conversations with these alleged cooperators. They said, you spoke to cooperators that are going to testify at this trial during the investigation, right? Including Jam. He said, yes. They said you were present with Jam for 12 different interviews personally. He said, well, I don't know the amount of times, but it was quite a few. They said Jam was interviewed over 30 times, right? And the guy was like, possibly. And they said Jam is in confinement. They take notes. Do they record the meetings? They said, well, how come Jam only had 3 recorded meetings? So they're sitting down with him 30 times, only recording 3 of them. Now that kind of looked bad. Brian Steele was kind of putting in work on the detective at this point. They also went on to say that Keith Jones was doing interviews. They said that this detective, you were present 5 times for interviews with Keith Jones, yes. And they said, but only 1 was recorded. And he said, possibly. And again, this was probably Durk's finest hour over the last few days. Durk's been kind of letting the prosecution do their thing, but Brian Steele took that stand and he was putting in work. I'm not going to lie, he was looking good. This was the strongest I feel like we've seen Durk since that severance hearing. So in addition to that, they also brought up Vonnie. They said Vonnie was interviewed in your presence, that specific detective, 10 times. And they said none of those were recorded. And the detective admitted it. And then Brian Steele started grilling him saying, do you know why a meeting with a cooperator might not be recorded? Like, why might that happen? And he was like, I can't explain it to you. Even the detective, he was like, I typically record stuff. But, you know, I don't know why we didn't record those. They basically seem to say that the prosecutors wanted to have the strategy of not recording these interviews. I don't know if they wanted to get them comfortable. We're hearing that handwritten.
Well, it's supposed to give the perception to the audience or to the jurors that y'all had to coax him a bit. Like, for example, with Vonnie, apparently they said, hey, you're the leader when they first bust in. And then they kind of talked to him and they said, well, in our book, you're the leader unless you got someone else who's probably the leader. Those interrogation strategies are going to be very much scrutinized. Is it recorded? How much of it is this person giving a statement and then later changing it? Are you telling them that they'll never get out unless they say A, B, or C? That's going to be a thing. And that's why I think they're sowing the seeds.